Hey, it's Mr. Bass. I don't know about you guys, but I love these Plano Edge boxes, man. They're really great. They're sturdy. They've got one single opening, so it's easy to open. They're waterproof. They prevent rust. They do a lot of amazing things. And one of my favorite boxes is this jig and bladed jig box. It's just got a great system for holding your jigs and your bladed jigs. And let me kind of show you what one looks like with jigs in it. I mean, how beautiful is that? It's just perfect. Or is it just perfect? That's kind of what I want to talk with you about today, because it's kind of perfect. In fact, when it comes to a solution for storing jigs, bladed jigs, swim jigs, there's probably nothing better out there right now on the market than these Plano Edge boxes. But there are some downsides, and I want to hit on those because this is not just something I've noticed. I know a lot of fishermen have noticed this. One is it only comes in one size, the 3700 size, and it's not very deep. As you can see, it's about 1 inch deep. This is kind of shows you the comparison of what a deep box looks like compared to. It comes in only one size, all right? It doesn't come in a 3600 size. It doesn't come in a 3500 series size. It only comes in the 37, and it only comes in this thickness. Well, why is that a problem? Well, I don't like taking 3700s out on my kayak. I prefer 3600s, and even on my boat, a lot of times I prefer smaller boxes. But some of you, that's not a big deal. 3700s, not a problem and not an issue. But there's a bigger issue that a lot more guys are complaining about, and that is, I don't know if you can see right here. It's very hard to see through here. But the problem with this shallow box, this 1 inch deep box, is all of, not all, but a lot of your jig brush guards get squashed down, flattened by these lids because they're not deep enough. And that is a problem. Guys are complaining that, look, all my jigs, like, see this here? Now some might say that's perfect, that's just the way I want it. But the problem is that's not the way it came out of the package. It came out of the package more like that, and now it's all mashed down. So that's probably the biggest problem with this box, is it's not deep enough for a lot of jigs. One other problem is that these holders are all the same width, and so there are some like really wide jigs that are not going to fit in here, and there's also some really skinny jigs that don't fit in here very well. But most of your jig heads will fit and do fit well. So what to do about this? Well, I've kind of racked my brain on it because I do want to solve that problem for myself, and I have come up with a couple of ideas that I think I'm very happy with. Now, this first solution, which is the one that I'm probably going to stick with the most, is not a waterproof option. But I think you can find waterproof stuff out there. So let's take, for example, this little Gamakatsu box. Let me show you how it compares in size to the Plano box. Well, it's a lot smaller, but it's a lot thicker, okay? So that's one thing. It still has an edge opening, so you can do it by one hand if you want. It's not nearly as sturdy, I would say, or durable as the Plano boxes, but I've always liked these Gamakatsu boxes, and I think they work fine. So how many jigs will this hold? It will hold 28 jigs. And let me show you what I've done. So what I did is I took one of these boxes, and these slide out because they can be adjusted. I just took it out, right? And then I thought, how can I attach it in this box? It happens to fit perfectly in this box. See there? It goes edge to edge. It's a perfect fit. I thought, well, I could glue it down, but then if I glue it, I can't ever take it back out, and I may want to adjust it too. So how can I make this more flexible? And then, of course, Velcro came to mind. But regular old Velcro is not strong enough to hold 28 jigs in place, especially in a bouncing boat. So I did some research and I found this stuff. It's by 3M, the same people that make these Velcro loop things, but it's super, super strong. It's got these really, really thick, deep hook and loop grooves that really, really work well. And it's got super, super sticky adhesive on it. So what I did was I took and I stuck the adhesive on the back of here, and guess what? It's the perfect size, same exact width. I put one strip here, then I do the same inside the box, plop it in, and bam, I've solved this problem. It's really awesome. Now if you want a little bigger box, well, Gamakatsu makes bigger boxes, and you can do the same thing with those. And I could put several of these in here. I haven't Velcroed these down yet, but just to kind of give you an idea, this gives me even more space than the smaller box, and it even gives me a place to put trailers if I want to put trailers in here for my chatterbaits and jig trailers. So I'm really liking that. I think that's pretty cool. You may say to yourself, okay, that's great, but I like the waterproof. I want waterproof. So then I thought, well, how can I solve the waterproof problem? Well, I first tried the Plano Deep Box. And here's what's unfortunate. The Plano Deep Box, especially if you get this Edge Flex, all these things, dividers, just come completely out, and you can put them in anywhere you want. And the grooves are the exact same distance for where I could slide these in. The problem is that these have a stopgap piece at the top. So when you slide them into the deeper Plano Edge Flex box, see, it won't go all the way down. The only way you could do it is if you took these out and kind of ground these pieces out. And to me, that's too much trouble, really, to tell you the truth. So then I thought, what other waterproof boxes do I have out here? Well, I got these Busbies, and the Busbies seem flexible because you can take all the boxes out, but the problem is they've got this kind of Lego insert, and you can't get the Velcro to stick on those, unfortunately. So the Flex Edge box doesn't work, the Busby doesn't work, and then I thought, well, I've got some older Plano waterproof boxes like this one that has a completely open interior. I've got a similar problem though. These things are just slightly too wide to fit in this way. They're just a little too wide. Well, then you could just take the dividers out and turn them in here, but then you're going to rely on, you could put it maybe against one side here, but you're not going to have any support on this side, and I'm afraid even as strong as the Velcro is, that thing's going to move. So I kind of think this box won't work either. So then I have some Flambeau waterproof boxes. This one I had square bills in that are also very flexible. You can take all the dividers out if you want. And I went ahead and experimented with this, and this actually will fit. And I think you could make it work in these Flambeau boxes. If you wanted a waterproof solution, the Flambeau is definitely an option. All right, then some of you might say, well, how about the Bass Mafia boxes? They're waterproof. They are, but the dividers, unless they've come out with a flexible divider system I don't know about, these dividers are fixed in here. These come out, but these longer ones are stationary. They can't be moved or adjusted and it's just too thin. You could obviously stick one of these down the bottom, but it doesn't give enough room for your jigs. So the Bass Mafia option is out. And so unfortunately, I don't have a really good waterproof solution. The closest thing I've come to are these Flambeau flexible boxes, and I gotta admit, I do really like these Flambeau flexible boxes. I got quite a few of them that I like to use, but I know my audience is smarter than me, and there's got to be somebody out there who the light bulb's gone on their head and they've said, I've got this kind of waterproof box, I think it'll work. Put in the description your ideas on how to come up with a waterproof solution. That would be really cool. Okay, here's another idea also that I know some of you guys are going to think about. This is not a waterproof idea, but how about lure lock? Now, I love lure lock products. I don't know about all their entire inventory, but the only lure lock product that I know of that I also own is the Lure Lock 4-in-1 box, which is a deep box. It's very deep. It has two other trays that slide in here, but you could take those trays out, and then these do absolutely fit in this box just fine. And of course, instead of the Velcro, you could stick them on the actual sticky tack logic is what they call this sticky stuff, and that might hold. Now, I've not tried this with jigs, and I kind of wonder how strong it will be. When I just stuck this in, and to tell you the truth, it feels pretty darn strong right now. But I don't know. I may experiment with this some more. But this kind of goes back to, do I really need a box this big full of jigs? You could do that though. You could take all of these inserts, put them in here, see how well they hold up. There is a little bit of a gap though right here, so it's not totally up against both sides. I would like it better if they kind of just almost were wedged in there, and that's what I really like about these Gamakatsu boxes, is you can fit the edges in there for a very snug fit. But this thing would hold a lot. You know, you could put a lot of these down in there, and it's definitely something I think to consider. Hopefully I've got your creative juices flowing here. What are your ideas? Put them in the comments. Let's share with each other, and maybe we can help solve this problem. What makes this box really great? It's just these things. That's all. Now, unfortunately, I have not seen where you can buy just these. I was hoping Plano would just sell these. Because let's face it, these things are going to break. You might lose some of them. You might want more. You would think that they're going to make these available. I hope they do. And maybe I just haven't found the right place to find them. But this is really what makes the box special. Just take this and put it wherever it makes sense so that you've got a box that makes you happy. How about that? Really, really awesome. Now, I'm going to load up my 24 jig box so that you can see what it looks like fully loaded. And just in case you've got doubts about whether it'll work or not. All right, so here's the finished product. 28 jigs. I've got chatterbaits, bladed jigs, I got swim jigs, I got arky jigs. You can put as many jigs as you want in there. You can also even keep your trailers on your jigs if you want. It's a little crowded, but if you think about it, how often do you really need, let's say you're going out for the day and you're going to go fish chatterbaits and bladed jigs. Do you really need more than 14? You could just take the bottom row out and just put 14 bladed jigs, all with trailers already on them, and it would be perfect. So for a day of fishing, for me, this thing's perfect. And I really like the fact on my kayak, this thing will fit in great. Nope, it's not waterproof. That is the one limitation. All in all, I think this is a really good solution, and you don't have to worry about your weed guards getting all mashed down. What do you think about this idea? And I'd really be interested to know, have you thought of and tried something different that I'm not thinking of? I'd love to hear that. Put it in the comments. Let me know what you think about this and other good ideas you might have. I hope this was helpful and informative, so please subscribe to the channel, smash that like button. Until next time, this is Mr. Bass. Happy fishing!